Hello, good morning, and welcome aboard to AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaije. In our very first story, Ghana has taken a major step towards strengthening its agro-industrial sector with the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and B5 Plus Limited to establish a large-scale cashew processing plant in the country. The agreement was signed by the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Agric Opoku, and the Executive Director of B5 Plus Limited, Mukesh Takwani. It sets out collaborative framework to develop and manage the cashew processing facility under a build-operate model. There's more in the following report.
Is one of the world's leading producers of raw cashew nuts, yet much of its output is exported without processing. The newly signed Memorandum of Understanding MoU highlights the urgent need to move away from raw exports towards domestic processing to increase farmer incomes, generate jobs, and diversify the country's export base. Under the agreement, B5 Plus Limited will finance, design, construct, equip, own and operate the processing facility at its own cost and risk, pending the necessary regulatory approvals. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture, MoFA, will support the project by coordinating policy, facilitating access to land, engaging stakeholders, and securing interagency approvals to ensure smooth execution. The initiative forms part of Ghana's economic transformation drive focused on industrialization, import substitution, and sustainable export expansion. The project also prioritizes employment creation and skills development to strengthen local, technical, and managerial expertise. Speaking at the signing ceremony, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Agric Opoku, stressed the project's strategic role within the Feed Ghana program. He said it is not just about increasing production, it is also about building industries around what Ghana grows. He emphasized that local processing is critical to returning value to farmers and rural communities. He says when we process our cashew locally, we create jobs, empower farmers, and retain Ghanaian wealth within the country. Industry observers point out that strengthening domestic processing capacity could stabilize farm gate prices, minimize post-harvest losses, and promote rural industrialization, especially in key cashew-producing areas. Food and Agriculture Minister Agric Opoku concluded that, quote, the era of exporting raw potential is over. Under Feed Ghana, we are transforming harvest into industry and agriculture into a driver of economic transformation, unquote. If successfully executed, the MoFA B5 partnership could become a blueprint for similar investments in other tree crops and agricultural value chains, helping Ghana shift from commodity dependence towards industrial growth.
Well, environmental health officers in the Dafema Busie Isa district are relieved after receiving 6 motorbikes from the assembly to improve mobility and sanitation efforts. Previously, officers relied on personal motorbikes due to inadequate transport. District Chief Executive James Waugh presented the bikes to support operations across the zones. Additionally, with support from GIZ, the assembly donated powered tillers, threshers, hand planters, and knapsack sprayers to boost agricultural activities.
One major challenge most metropolitan, municipal, and districts in the country grapple with in their bid to ensure that their areas of jurisdiction are clean is inadequate transportation services for its staff. The work of these staff is even more critical following the launch of the National Sanitation Day by President Mahama as part of efforts to keep the nation clean. The Dafema Busie Isa District Assembly has been challenged with the issue of inadequate mobility for its staff to deal with issues of sanitation. To address the concern of the staff, the Dafema Busie Isa District Assembly, through its Chief Executive James Waugh, handed over 6 motorbikes to environmental officers in the various zones in the districts to aid in their work.
We think that if we get the officers' motorbikes to be supervising the work, it will go a long way to help. So we've zoned our district into 5. and each officer will be manning one zone. There are other officers that will also be there so that they can use this to supervise cleaning. What we are also doing differently in our district is that apart from just the National Sanitation Day, we've asked each zone to always allocate days for specific sections in the area so that this day we will know that this particular section they are doing cleaning.
Some of the officers expressed joy and excitement over the donation.
Previously, we were using just one motorbike. Let me say two, but one is grounded. And the one motorbike was woefully inadequate to carry out activities in some communities. We normally deal with communities. We enter communities to do a lot of sensitization and a lot of trainings. But due to the inadequate motorbike, staff were forced to use their personal motorbikes to do community sensitization. But I think with this, it will go a long way. It has reduced the burden.
It will go a long way to improve the sanitation situation and help our people to also have that awareness in their homes about the activities of the environmental health and other actors. We don't work in isolation, we work with other officers in different departments. So we see this as a good gesture to support the unit and to improve our sanitation situation.
James Wall also moved to the Issa community where he donated power tillers, threshers, hand planters, and knapsack sprayers as part of support from GSZ. Two communities, Issa and Boyiri, will benefit from the project. Dada Fimobure Issa DCE also revealed that as part of the support from the GSZ, they have drilled and mechanized 8 boreholes, constructing 4-number agroforestry for 4 different communities, rehabilitating a dam, and construction of a cold room at Duong.
Issa, as a community, complain about the fact that sometimes they don't get tractors, equipments to help them farm. And so, in the action plan, they chose to help us provide a ripper. Some people call it power trailer, a thresher, and these other equipments to the community. Similar equipment will be given to Boyiri community also. And we are going to do that too today. The same GIZ sponsored the rehabilitation of a dam at Duong, and then the construction of a cold room at the same Duong. Under the GIZ, we've also drilled 8-number mechanized boreholes, and they are all yielding very well.
Bismarck Viatori, speaking on behalf of the Paramount Chief of the Issa Traditional Area, Nayel Kuambawele II, whilst thanking the DBI Assembly and the GSZ for the donation, pledged to ensure that they are used resourcefully for the intended purpose for which they were donated for. The motorbikes and the farm equipment are valued at over 500,000 Ghana cedis. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Issa.
From the Upper West region, let me bring you to the Greater Accra region. A 30-year-old accountant at Ghana's leading teaching hospital, Korle Bu, is battling for her life after doctors recommended she would need at least $60,000 to go through a surgery to treat a case of blood cancer. For 2 years, Gifty Stevens has been through several treatments that have drained her family of thousands of cedis. Now, doctors say unless she raises this amount and gets this procedure done in India as soon as possible, else her life would slip away. In our Joy News 8 series, journalist Justice Beidou has visited her, and here's his report.
Straightforward journey where you had everything happen as you wished. Gifty Stevens will be her bubbly self at her job, working as a procurement personnel at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. Those who know her say she is affable, kind, and funny. Her days away from work are spent as a Sunday school teacher in the Methodist Church. Then in 2023, all of that will change. Gifty will be diagnosed of Hodgkin's lymphoma, a rare blood cancer that affects the human lymphatic system. This condition shows painless swelling of lymph nodes in the neck, armpit, and the groin. Gifty has fever, sweats profusely at night, and has lost weight drastically. She wants to speak and ask for help. She just cannot.
Oh no, I'm breathlessness. I can't really breathe well. I can't really talk well. Quite a fear of something. Get ahead.
In the 3 years since, her family, friends, and all well-wishers have put in all they can to help Gifty get back his health and stay alive. By her sick bed, she's kept company by her beloved auntie, Joyce Stevens, with who she has lived since she was a little girl. Gifty is looking on as her life slips away. But she can be saved. In December 2025, doctors at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital referred her for a procedure in India that could possibly bring her back to normal. The cost of that, $60,000 is what is standing between Gifty's life and death.
Now, the stage I am, I just want to go a stem cell transplant. But the money involved is so huge that I saw from my family can take the burden alone. So we're very grateful if you come through to help us. Yeah. That's all I can say for you. It's so much.
For Gifty, like many Ghanaians suffering from such chronic ailment, the clock is ticking. Each painful attempt to breathe in and breathe out, she looks on in anxiety that some way, somehow, she is able to hold her life back from slipping through her fingers. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Accra.
Let's do some business stories now. The Chief Executive Officer of MTN Group, Ralph Mupita, says the company is focused on accelerating infrastructure investment in Ghana to enhance customer experience following MTN Ghana's strong performance within the group in 2025.
Next week, the financial results of MTN Ghana will be released to the market, so I can't talk about them now. What I can say is the following. We have what we call the $1 Million Challenge, which is an internal competition of what the best operations are doing. MTN Ghana was the best operation across the MTN markets in 2025. Yep. So much commendation to Stephen Blewett and his team for their achievements. I think the second proof point about Ghana's importance is we are going to accelerate capital investment within the business. So $1.1 billion equivalent of capital investment into building the infrastructure, and that's over a 3-year period. We did the last billion over 5 years. So the acceleration is giving you confidence that it is a material opera. Okay. End of last year, we've had 2 major subsidiaries within the context of the MTN Group across all markets, serving the 300 million plus customers. And that was South Africa and Nigeria. This year, we're adding Ghana as the 3rd major subsidiaries for the whole group, purely as a function of its the way it has performed and the potential that we see going forward of this operation. And it is a significant achievement. And I want to thank the teams here and also commend the board who guide and govern this company, that this is now a major subsidiary of the group.
Also, a recent survey by KPMG reveals that nearly 50% of Gen Z respondents report having no investment at all. Speaking on Beyond the Numbers on the Joy News channel, Dennis Ansu, Senior Manager for Strategy and Operations at KPMG, noted that some Gen Z respondents are still concerned about the effect of the domestic debt exchange program.
One thing we noticed from the survey results is that when they were asked about the various areas where they typically push their money, like you mentioned, they are typically within the survival mode. They spend almost about 73% of their disposable income on food. This is a very telling feature of the Gen Z's category. Now, what we realized is that because of their predisposition to be in the survival mode, even those who are finding the little they can to invest in T-bills and others are confronted with a number of fears. Some are thinking of, the effect or the impact of the DDP we just came out of. There's also some kind of orientation gap that exists because we realize that most of these Gen Zs do not receive the needed attention from banks. Banks are looking more at persons within maybe certain age brackets, maybe 50, 60, 40, thereabouts, who have the income, the disposable income to be able to invest. So that orientation, that focus on them, that education is missing.
That's it for business. That's it for AM News. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denise Apomaije. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a lovely day.